Hey guys, it's Seb, Skewb, and I'm back again with another tutorial. So, today we're going to be learning how to solve the Skewb. The Skewb is a lot easier to solve than like the 3x3 or something like that, just because it requires a lot less memorization. The hardest thing when you're learning how to solve the Skewb is the turning. I'm going to think about it as 4 different turns that you're going to need for our algorithms, and each turn is rotating on a different corner. So, for example, this turn is rotating on the bottom right corner. This turn is rotating on the top right corner. And the reason for this is because when you're turning this, on the orange face, the only piece that isn't moving is this bottom right corner. And so then, with this turn, the only piece that isn't moving is the top left corner, so that's rotating on the top left corner. And the same goes for the bottom left corner. That's rotating on the bottom left corner. Alright, so I'm just going to scramble this up quickly. Okay, cool. So now, it's all scrambled up. And the first stage is going to be solving the white side. That's going to look like this. And then the second stage is solving the top 4 yellow corners. That's going to look like this, with all 4 yellow corners solved. The next stage is to bring the yellow center up here. That's going to look like this. And then the final stage is to position these last centers. And that's going to look like this. Alright, it's solved. After those 4 stages, the Skewb is going to be solved. Okay, so this first stage in solving the Skewb is quite intuitive. There's only one algorithm that we're going to have to learn to solve this entire white face. So, that algorithm is going to be for orientating the corners. So, if I just bring a corner up here, you can see how this corner is in the correct spot, because if we pick a corner adjacent to it, like this corner, both corners have white on it, because we're trying to solve for this white center. And then both corners share one color. So orange and red, or red, orange, they're obviously not the same color, but these 2 corners do share the color green. And then the same would go for this corner here. This corner and this adjacent corner both have white on it, and they both share a color, which is orange, as you can see there, with both of them have orange. And then the final corner here, if I pick either of its adjacent corners, I'll pick this one here. They both have white and they both share red. So that's how we're going to know that they're in the right spot. Getting them up into the right spot is very intuitive. So you're just kind of have to experiment and just swing it up into the correct spot like this. There's no algorithms for that. The first algorithm comes into play when we're orientating the corners. So if I want white matching white here, that's when it's correctly orientated. At the moment, it is incorrectly orientated. So how we're going to do this algorithm is we're going to have the corner we want to orientate in the top right. We're going to turn the cube once to the right, and then we're going to perform this algorithm. Rotating on the bottom left corner, rotating on the top left corner, rotating on the bottom left corner, and rotating on the top left corner. So it's not correctly orientated, so we'll do it again. Coming down on the bottom left, down on the top left, up on the bottom left, and up on the top left. And then we'll do it again for this corner. So we'll put it in the top right, turn the cube once to the right, and then we'll go down on the bottom left, down on the top left, up on the bottom left, and up on the top left. It's not correctly orientated because white is matching white, so we'll do it one more time. Turn the cube, down on the bottom left, down on the top left, up on the bottom left, and up on the top left. Now it's correctly orientated. We'll move this last corner, put it in the top right, turn the cube and do the algorithm once more. It's not correctly orientated, and now it is. Now we've got the entire white side done. So now we need to solve these 4 yellow corners. Now there's 3 different cases you can have. There's this case with 2 yellow corners facing up. There's this case with no yellow corners facing up. And there's this case with all 4 yellow corners facing up. So we're going to start with the hardest case. This case with 2 yellow corners facing up. So we're going to perform 2 algorithms to solve this, to flip these 2. And they're both going to be the same algorithms. We're just going to have to turn the cube during it. So how we're going to hold it is we're going to hold it with this diagonal line here, coming up from the bottom left to the top right. And we're going to have the bottom right corner facing us, yellow facing us. And then the left, you should have yellow facing the left. And then we're going to perform this really simple algorithm. Down on the bottom left, down on the bottom right, up on the bottom left, up on the bottom right. And now, as you can see, none of these corners are solved. And that brings us to our second case, which is, with none of them solved, we're going to have headlights on one side and then 2 opposite yellow corners on the other side. We're going to have headlights facing the right, and we're going to perform that same algorithm. Down on the bottom left, down on the bottom right, up on the bottom left, up on the bottom right. And that's going to solve all 4 corners. So from the hardest case, we turn it into that case by performing the algorithm with a diagonal line going from the bottom left to the top right, and yellow facing us on the top right. Perform that algorithm, that'll take us to no corners solved. We turn it so that headlights facing the right, we have yellow there and there. Perform that algorithm one more time and you're going to have all 4 yellow corners solved. The next stage is to bring this yellow center up on top, onto where the yellow corners are. So we're going to use that same algorithm. We're just going to perform it twice. So we're going to find the yellow center, put it at the back, perform that algorithm once, rotating down on the bottom left, rotating down on the bottom right, rotating up on the bottom left, rotating up on the bottom right. And then we're going to turn the cube 180 degrees and do it again. Down on the bottom left, down on the bottom right, up on the bottom left, up on the bottom right. Now, as you can see, we've got yellow solved. So we're going to have yellow and white solved. And now the last stage is going to be positioning these last centers here. So there's 3 different cases you can get. You can have 1 center in the correct spot, all 4 centers in the correct spot, or no centers in the correct spot. So if we have all 4 in the correct spot, then it's solved. If we have just 3 in the correct spot, this is the easiest case. So I'll start with that one, and then I'll show you the harder case. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the cube so that yellow and white are on the left and the right. It doesn't matter whether they're on. It doesn't matter which one's on the left and which one's on the right. But we're going to have this solved side on the bottom. So then your unsolved centers are going to be facing you on the top and on the back. And then the next thing we need to check to make sure that we're holding it right is whether this color facing us, the center facing us, and the center on the top are opposite colors. So they're green and red. So if we get the 3x3 out, green and red are next to each other. So they're not opposite colors. So if you know that they're not opposite colors, you're going to turn the cube 180 degrees, keeping your solved one on the bottom and yellow and white on the left and right. And then you're going to check to see if you have opposite colors on the front and on the top. So if you revert back to our 3x3, blue and green. So there's blue and there's green, and they're on opposite sides, which means these two colors are opposite colors. So then we're going to perform that exact same algorithm that we just used for positioning the yellow center. So down on the bottom left, down on the bottom right, up on the bottom left, up on the bottom right. Turn the cube 180 degrees and do it again. Down on the bottom left, down on the bottom right, up on the bottom left, up on the bottom right. So that's going to have solved your Skewb. Another case you could get is with all 4 centers between yellow and white incorrectly placed. So we're still going to use that exact same algorithm, but in this case it doesn't matter where you perform it because there's no solve side to put at the bottom, and so it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to choose to perform it just here. So I'm going to go down on the bottom left, down on the bottom right, up on the bottom left, up on the bottom right. Turn it 180 degrees, do it again, and now there will be 1 center solved. And so then we'll do this again. We'll put the center we'll put the center that's solved on the bottom, yellow and white on the left and right, and then have opposite centers here. So on the top and on the front, blue and green, they're opposites. So we're going to do that algorithm again. And that Skewb is going to be solved. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Like, share, and subscribe, and see ya!